Hello, my friends. This is Sandy, and this video is going to walk us through my 14 card sunflower embossing project. Now, if you haven't already watched it, come back to this video and first watch Sunflower 3D Embossing. That is going to tell you what you're going to do with all of these beautiful pieces. Okay, so there's a lot of fun things that you can do with them. First thing I want you to do though, before we even get going on this part of it, is I want you to cut these two flowers here separate. So we're just going to come right up in between these two, because this flower we're going to use for one card and this we're going to use for the other. And all of these are all just pieces that we are going to be embossing, or not embossing, I've already embossed for you. We're going to be sanding, inking, blending. Sand, ink, blend, create all these fun flowers and different kinds of leaves. So let me just go through really quick. These two have been sanded. You just take a sanding block and rub it over top of the paper. I'll take this one as a sample. You just rub it over top and see how now the white core is exposed. And if you do that a whole bunch, then you can even pop those vines up. Here, I wanted to point out with the leaves, this one is flipped upside down so that the vines are poking up. This one is the vines poking down, so different directions that you can do your leaves. Sanding, this one has some ink rubbed over top of it. Here's another sanding one. Here's another ink rub. This one's just plain. So different things you can do with your leaves, different things you can do with your flowers. And again, go back and watch that video. You can even do blending brushes. That's how that got really dark, is using blending brushes. I think I'm going to do that over top of this one as well. So once you go through and do all of your sanding and coloring of all of these different pieces and however you want to make them beautiful, then you're going to use your scissors. And when they're colored, it's way easier to do this part. You're going to cut around on the leaves. You just need these two leaves. And as you can tell, I'm not being very precise about it. I'm going pretty quick. If you cut a little bit of it off, it's not a big deal. If you leave some of the extra, it just adds texture to your leaf. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's what you're going to do with all of those pieces. So pause your video, go and do all of this fun, and then we'll go through assembly of these cards. All right, once you get all your flowers and your leaves cut out, you'll want to fold all of your cards just in the standard fold style. And we're going to dive right into our first card. You're going to need this white piece in front of you, and grab a couple of journaling pens, white gel pens, things that you like to draw on your cards with. So I'm just using an orange and a green blending brush for this particular card. And I'm going to go through and add orange to um, the flowers and green to the leaves. So whatever colors you have in your stash, if you're working for home or if you are creating this project at my house, I'll have all the inks that I used right on the table for you to use. All right, so we're going to go through and do the orange, and then I'm coming through and just adding some of that green. And it's okay if it hits some of the leaves. It actually enhances the orange a little bit, gives it a little extra pop of color when you get that overlapping color. This leaf to be a little bit darker. That one too. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I've taken one of our card bases, added the yellow to it and the green. Now I'm going to take that beautiful piece that we just created. Now the green I did put a little bit further north so that I have a little extra space at the bottom, I just did dot dashes along the bottom. You're welcome to do that or skip it, totally up to you. On this one, I did this silver piece on foam tape, but here I'm just going to leave it flat. And that's going to overlap all three layers. So you're totally covering up the green and you want it to overlap the flowers and the yellow. We've got a flower. I sanded it here. Here I used ink. And I'm just tucking that behind this silver piece. And I want it to overlap the green. And we're going to use our Best Wishes punch out, the one that's cursive like. All right, that's going to go about here. And then I just want to add a little bit of ribbon. So here I just took 3 pieces of ribbon and tacked them down behind there. So if I just take 1, 2, 3 little snippets, and what I'm going to do is put a nice thick glob of tape and just lay these flat underneath there. Put a little extra on my flower there. And there we go. Card number 1, version A, version B. Fun, right? Let's move on to our next one. So on this piece, I've taken the sanding block and just sanded off to reveal some white core. And now I'm going to go in the center of each of those flowers. See, there's not very many. I'll just do that one because we'll cover that up. And just adding a little bit of texture to that. Yours might have more or in different spots. That's okay. So this layer, and I did that with it upside down. So it's actually popping up on the back side, pushing down from the front. I've added the brown to a card front, and I'm adding this layer here. Now what I did with this one is I took my ribbon and just gave myself a little tabby there, and I'm just wrapping it around a couple of times. And then when I get here, I'm going to just make a knot. Trim off. And then on this one, I frayed the edges. You can either fray them or just keep them flat. We're going to, why don't you grab one of your flowers and one of your leaves. I'm going to use a darker one. So this flower is going, I'm going to cut some of this extra off of here. Isn't that the nice thing about these flowers? You just shorten it up a little bit, no big deal. You can't even tell that I did that. I want these leaves to tuck behind here. Then I'm going to add this piece, and I'm adding lots of adhesive because I want to make sure that that ribbon doesn't pop up. So I'm covering up the bottom of the flower and the leaves just a little bit. From our punch out, we're going to grab Oh Happy Day. And I just used and the pumpkin pie right in our Stampin' Right marker, which I guess are retiring. It's a bummer. That's how I finished that one off. And let me bring this up close. I used the white gel pen to put little white dots in the middle of the flower and the white gel pen to add accents on the leaves. Either way, it's gorgeous, whether you jazz it up or you leave it plain. Beautiful, beautiful. This is the next card we're going to work on. I'm switching this one up a little bit. So on here, with the popped upside on the bottom, right? So this is pushed down. I inked the surface, but here I decided I was going to sand it. Fun, right? It's just a different way to do it. Let me show you this ribbon technique here. So I'm putting some tape just along the back, and I'm going to put that there, and I want this to loop down and then connect back there. Then what I'm going to do is weave this other piece through here. Oop, I guess I needed it to be a little bit longer. Shorten these up a little bit. I can pull this one a little bit more. And I'm going to tack these down along the back. So that's tacked down on the back. That's what it looks like on the front. And we're going to put that down so that it's closer to the left-hand side. And then we need a set of leaves. And I'm going to use this flower. So I'm going to situate the flower, tuck the leaves behind it. Then the best wishes is on this little purple tab. So I'm going to run that purple tab so that it's weaved through the ribbon, covering up where the flower and the leaves kind of overlap there. Then we're going to use our smaller best wishes. Right in there. And then to finish this one up, I just took the white gel pen again, added some lines, did some dots through there. But there's two versions of the same card. Fun, fun, fun. Oh, here's the foil one. You guys are going to love this. So I've just run some ribbon along the edge of that card and added adhesive. So that's going to be the card front. We're going to use our silver. So here's the silver foil paper. Don't you love the way it catches the light? Makes those flowers really pop. All right, so that is going to get framed on the left or right-hand side, right? So even space top and bottom with the same dimension of frame there. And the ribbon helps to offset that. Then we're going to add this strip and this. You can go under or over the ribbon, you decide. And that's about a 1/4 inch up from the bottom of the silver. Then we've got a flower. I don't have the right color for that one. All right, so then you add the flower, and then you're going to add just a note and XOXO from there. And then to finish this one off, I did dots all the way around the edge, but it also looks cool without. I'm going to make another flower for that one. Here's the next card we're going to work on. All right, with this one, I'm going to take some orange ink and just rub that over top. And I'm using a darker ink here than I used here, just to give it some more fun texture, different dimensions. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of tape so that it holds my ribbon. And I'm going about 1 inch down from the top with that. Run tape all the way around the edges. Those embossing pieces, you really got to make them stick. All right, so then this is getting framed. I've already put that brown piece on a card front. Ooh, that's a little off-centered. Pause, please. Okay. It's still not good. Hold on. Sending sunshine for this card. You've got your orange flower. I did add some brown with the blending brush to the center of the flower, both on the base and the flower that we're going to pop. Add your leaves. And again, I went through and added some journaling with a white journal pen to that. I did some sanding after I did some inking just to give it like a little glow. But again, a little bit darker. I haven't finished the flowers yet, but fun, right? Yeah, let's do another. So I sanded the card, the purple piece, and added that to the front of the card. I'm putting this silver tag on there about a quarter of an inch, half of an inch up from the bottom of the purple. Then I'm going to add congratulations. And that's going to sit overlapping the purple or the silver. Now we've got two flowers that we're going to do. One of them is going to be your main focus flower. So I want to kind of get that one situated. And then this one's going to get tucked behind there. And I only have one of these leaves, not two. So I'm going to use just one of them. I'll put this down here. And then I finished this one off by using my ribbon and making a bow. And I used a glue dot to put the bow on there. But it also looks cute without. So with and without bows, adorable. Next, we're going to do this thanks card. I sanded the orange. Go ahead and do that part. Then after I sanded it, I tore it. So I'm tearing kind of at a diagonal. And then that gets attached to kind of the center of the green. You want to even space top and bottom and spacing on either side. Then we're going to run some ribbon. Wrap that right around the back. And that's about 3/4 down from the top of the green. Dick. All right, and then that's going to get attached to the front of the card. Make sure we're straightish on the front. Oh yeah, lovely. All right, so there we go. There's the start of that one. Then we've got our flower that's going to go right in here. And then here's where I used that brown, that one little smaller circle piece that I inked with brown is going to go right there. And then this one, I'm going to use some of these. I've got these funny little leaves that are actually petals from flowers. I'm going to tuck in here in lieu of these leaves. I'm just not cutting all the other things. I'm using some leftovers that I've got. All right, then we're going to add our thanks from our punch outs. Right up in here. And then to finish this one off, again, yellow, I did some white lines, some white dots around the edges. And then don't forget that fun little circle. We're going to do our get well soon next. So this one, I'm just taking the ink pad and running over top. And then I'm going to do that same kind of diagonal rip that we did on the last card. That is going on the blue piece. Keep the sides straight. This gets added to a card. Then we've got our landing spot for our get well soon. And then with this one, I did 3 loops of ribbon. And if you use foam tape, it's a little bit easier. Let me see if I can show you. I attached the foam tape with the ribbon to help keep it all secure. A little bit of blending brush in the middle of that white flower. Fun, fun. And it's blue, so get well soon. I sanded this one and then added my ribbon, just tacked around the back. Then this is going to go on the front of the card. And we've got, so you're going to add your flower and whatever. We've got these two, the kind of minty green ones that we're going to use for this card. Then the landing spot for Thankful for You. And the Thankful for You, this black frame has a white kind of frame around it or inside of it. That's a white gel pen that I used for that part, just to finish that card off. And I did do some white gel pen, of course, in the leaves too. Since I was doing the edges, might as well do the leaves too. All right, let's work on our Happy Easter card. So this one I started with the sanding again. So you're going to sand, actually, you guys don't need to see me do this, right? You're going to sand the bottom, add this piece to it, wrap your ribbon, tape it down, add your flower, your leaves, and then the Happy Easter to finish that one off. I did white gel pen and then added gel to the leaves. So I sanded the card front, added that pink piece, and I've taken one piece of ribbon and tied it to the rest of my ribbon. I'm going to figure out my length and just give a little snip. And then that's what I'm going to tape to the back. So I want this to fall right about here-ish. And then this gets attached to my card front. Just trim this one down a little bit. All right, and then we've got leaf and our flower. And actually, I want to add just a little bit of color to the center of that. A little bit of blending brush in the corner there. Pop that flower if you want to. And I'm just making sure it's placed fully on the card. Then I'm going to use my Thinking of You sentiment to finish this card off. All right, so I've got my Thinking of You, and I'm just going to trim these guys a little bit shorter. Ta-da! We're going to do a couple of Christmas cards next. So I sanded that piece and taped that down to the card front. Now we're going to take that 1.5 inch by 6 inch piece, and you want to angle it. But you want to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 corners are hanging off the edge, and you can see them on the back side so that you can trim them off with my scissors. Then using that same angle, we're going to attach this white piece kind of center to the card, but you want to make sure you're keeping that slope the same. And then we're going to add our leaves I'm just going to do one set of leaves. Add your flower. Let's just bring this up close. And again, 3 little loops. I popped that flower and did little white dots in the center and add your thin little Merry Christmas right to it. Ta-da! This is the card that has the vellum paper. So what's fun is we're going to add that red piece to the card. And when we add the vellum over top of it, that's what really helps make that the vellum pop is the fact that it's overlaying that red. When you're laying it down, though, you want to only put adhesive where you're going to be covering up the tape because you don't want to see that tape through those lines. Then we've got this green piece that's going to overlap all of that. And then I just took a little swoop of ribbon. I'm going to put some tape right there and just crisscross it. And well, I guess I should put my tape a little bit higher. All right, like that. And I just want to even up these bottom pieces to it. Happy Christmas is going there. And I'm only going to put tape on one side now because I don't have my flower done yet. So then my flower is just going to tuck underneath there. And then I did add a couple of triple dots, little dots on the green piece around Happy Christmas and the flower. And we are approaching now our very last card. It is a happy birthday card and it is super simple. I have attached the white piece to the card front. I added the black piece to the pink piece, leaving a little bit of pink along the edge. Then we're just gonna attach these 2 pieces of ribbon together. I just cut a little bit of a bit of ribbon off. Wow, been chatting for a while. All right, so I've got my knot there. Oh, it didn't stick. Hold on, I need a knot. All right, now I've got my knot. I'm going to attach my ribbon right alongside, a little bit overlapping the black so that no pink shows in between the black and the white. And I'm going to trim down these pieces here. This is going 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom and a 1/2 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch-ish from the edge. Then we're going to add our purple flower. Whichever way it fits best for you. And then the happy birthday. I've got that butted right up to the edge of the card. Dot, dot, dots along the edge of the black just to finish that one up. But that is all 14 of those sunflower embossing cards. I hope that you love them as much as I do. I'm very excited to have a second set. Some of you will see them in the mail soon. Thanks for watching, friends. Please comment, tell me what you think.